Hi, my name is Katya, and this is Girl Boston Style podcast. On my last episode, I promised to tell you how Stasi baby, Stasika Nikolaus DM changed my small sustainable brand, my mom said, and also kind of changed my life, or at least the way I was looking at things. Why did I say it this way? I don't know. In this episode, I will also talk about the Emrata, how I cried in LIDL, how my brand ended up in Vogue. And if you're not interested in listening about brand, I completely understand you. My next episode is going to be about more style, like fashion, trends, interviews, and so on and so on. This episode, I really want to kind of wrap up talking about my brand. But there's so many things I can share, how to open a brand, how to run a brand, what not to do, that if there's anything you're interested in, just send me DM, send me questions, comments. I would be happy to talk more about my brand later. One thing I want to mention before I start talking, because I haven't said that in my previous episode, my brand wasn't a successful one. I did close it 2 months ago, and in Instagram it might have looked amazing, but yes, my brand wasn't a successful one. I didn't make hundreds of sales. I didn't make thousands of euros. I was in a loss. I'm in no way trying to tell you how to run a brand, because I have no idea. I didn't have a successful brand. I just want to share with you my stories, my experience, and just talk about it and maybe share the things that you shouldn't do. But anyway, let's dive in. As I said in my previous episode, thanks to Albert and his Instagram Up Next designer, he posted my brand, and next day I woke up to Stasi's DM saying that she loved the corset and the miniskirt that my brand has, and we ended up talking. She was so kind, and I sent her the clothing, and then I just sit down and started thinking how crazy that Stasi, who has 10 millions of followers, literally DM'd me. Little like background story, before that moment I only had the courage to contact influencers who had like 10,000 of followers, like micro influencer, because that's what they tell you to do. Like if you're starting brand, start with micro influencers. Also, of course, I couldn't pay anyone because I had no budget for that. So even like contacting micro influencers, I was so scared because, I can't offer the pay, I only offer the clothes in exchange for posting, blah, blah, blah. And working with the micro influencers really didn't bring me anything, absolutely nothing. I know it depends on influencers and so on and so on, but as I said, I was just trying on different things. And working with micro influencer didn't really help me. I was going through one of the hard waves in my brand that I had like every few weeks. And I was thinking, I have nothing to lose. Stasi just DM'd me. Why wouldn't I start DMing those huge celebrities, influencers, and their stylists, and just why not? I really still implement this way of thinking, just because one day Stasi, who has 10 million of followers, DM'd me, and my brand back then had like 900 followers, which is like crazy. It really made me understand there is no boundaries. You can literally DM everyone, and there is as much chance that someone with million followers will answer you as there is chance that someone with 10k followers will answer you. I think maybe I sound more dramatic than it is, but when you have a brand and when you're so deep into that really just was like a boom. I was like, wow, it did change everything for me. And I started DMing everyone, like no shame in the game. I probably DM'd Kardashians, like whatever, really. I DM'd celebrity stylists, I DM'd influencers, I DM'd celebrities. I DM'd everyone. I said that already 100 times. Stop saying that. So I sent the clothes to Stasi baby and started DMing everyone and anyone. And really interesting thing, I had no idea how long will it take to Stasi to wear the clothes, and what will happen, because I never had this before. And then I saw this one TikTok, I think, of the brand owner saying that Kylie wore the top and it went viral, and everyone started DMing her asking for to buy this top. And she said that she made this top like 2 or 3 years ago, and she doesn't have them anymore. And 2 or 3 years ago, she sent it to Kylie's stylist. So that's how long it took to wear it, which is crazy. But I'm glad that I saw that TikTok, because then I calmed down. I stopped checking every hour if she wore it yet, because I was like, okay, it will take weeks. I DM'd everyone. As a result, I think one of the first who used the clothing was stylist, who put the crochet era top on Meg O'Donnelly. She's an actress who wore the top for the Winchester's opening show event, whatever, which was so crazy to me because I'm the biggest Supernatural fan ever. And there was the picture of her standing next to Jensen Ackles, on the new Winchester show, wearing this crochet top, which I don't know, so maybe niche, maybe it's not niche, but it was just so close to my heart, just to think that I can't even explain. I think this is such a fan thing, but I was so happy. Then I also DM'd Sydney Carlson. She has I think 2 million or around million followers. She actually answered me that she loved the clothes. She especially loved the vintage thrifted clothing on my website, so I sent her that. Yes, she answered me. She literally just answered me. I also DM'd Rebecca Black, who had a few million followers. She also answered me, and we it was crazy how easy it was to contact them and to talk to them. They were all very nice. The nicest, actually they were all very nice. I'm not gonna say who was the nicest, but the funny thing was with Nicole English. I'm just checking how many followers she has. She has 2.3 million followers, and she was also very nice. I sent her different stuff, and then when she received it, she made unpacking on her stories, and she took a picture of everything that I sent her. She said how much she loved the packaging, because I sent everything in a dust bags that I handmade, and all dust bags are different. And she tagged me in each stories, and she has 2.3 million followers. I cried because I haven't asked that of her. She just did that just because she's so nice. There was 5, I think, stories. Could you imagine having 5 stories on someone's page who has 2.3 million followers? And she tagged me everywhere. She wrote little captions, and of course I DM'd her again, and I wrote her a biggest thank you. I'm gonna cry now, but this was so nice. As I said before, I put so much love in all the details, and to make those little dust bags by hand, it will take me days to sew them all. And she said that she could see how much love and work I put in that. And she said she receives so many packages every day, and she could feel just the love and attention and everything that I put into that package. And she was more than happy to share it in her stories. And then she ended up wearing it a few times, and even recently she wore it on her Barbie reel, which was so nice. I have just, I don't know, the best memories. I'm literally about to cry because this is so nice. Around that time, Stassi finally wore the corset and the mini skirt. She wore it for Kardashian event, and Kylie Jenner made a TikTok with that and posted it, and it had millions of views. It was it was good, it was crazy. It was just so fun because people started DMing me, oh my god, you made it. I got so many comments and so many congratulations. It was so fun and so much love. Interesting things though, it didn't give me any followers or any sales. Later, when I will get followers from somewhere else and they will see that Stassi wore that, because of course I will post that and I will pin that on my page, then they will be oh my god, I want that corset. But from that day, from that event immediately, or from all of those moments when the influencers wore it, I wouldn't get sales. I would get maybe few of the followers. From Nicole English, I got followers. That was very interesting. That wasn't something that I expected, but it's still a good thing, because I feel this is kind of adds to your brand's resume, and it just looks good on your page. But yeah, there were, oh my god, crazy sales, because people were congratulating me I'm about to make millions. But still, I'm so grateful for that. The members, as you can see, I'm about to cry. The funny thing happened. One day, a girl before many influencers started wearing my clothes, one girl posted wearing Alex crochet top and she tagged me. And I was like, oh my God, that's amazing outfit. That's amazing page. And then I see that she's in States and I know all my customers. And back then there weren't that many influencers who were posting me and I didn't make sales to the States. So I was like, wait, how did she how did she how did she get that product? Because I even rechecked, but I remember most of the customers. I remember the countries I sold to, and especially then in the beginning I only sent a few influencers who haven't worn it yet. So I asked her, I talked, I was like, oh my God, you look amazing, the outfit is amazing, can I ask where did you get it? And she, by the way, you should follow her. She's tagged on my page, Mia Marquez. She makes the most amazing upcycled clothes ever. She just thrifts and then flips the clothing, and she's just amazing. And she told me that she found my crochet top with the tags and everything in LA vintage or thrift or whatever brand I think resale store. I was so shocked because I started thinking, how did it ended up there? And then of course I understood that one of the influencers just sold it or gave it to that store, which is absolutely okay because I understand how many packages influencers get and so on and so on. But it was just a interesting story, and you can think whatever you want out of it. But it was just so fun. But she actually gave me so many followers and so many sales that it just ended up working out so good. Literally check her Instagram, she's amazing. So yeah, I started sending the clothes to the influencers, celebrities, they started wearing it. I remember the Rebecca Black wore it for Halloween, the crochet top, and it's again just a good memory for me because I remember being a teenager and we would watch her Friday YouTube video, and I was a teenager, and then like have this full circle. Is it full circle? I don't know, but yes, I'm sentimental because it was very nice. She was very nice. She wore the top, and just to see this top on her, it was just good memory for me. Stasi wore the corset again a few times to different events, and I was so happy because it really made me understand that she loved it so much. She styled it amazing. She kept wearing it, and then one of her friends, Father Kels, who also has million of followers, DM'd me if I still have one of those corsets, which unfortunately I didn't. I was sold out. Then I saw that she borrowed it from Stasi and wore it as well. Also, like such a girl things to do. I loved it so much. While this was happening, I was really 4 weeks trying to approach the Emrata stylist because when I made Alex crochet top, I really kept thinking of Emrata. I was thinking she would rock this top so much, and it was like year before all of the influencers and stylists started wearing my brand. So I was just dreaming of that. We all have this list who you would love your brand to wear. For me, it was Emrata, Dua Lipa, Kardashians. The list was long, okay? So I was trying to approach this Emrata stylist, emails, DMs, and then one day I was like, okay, let me DM once again her. And I DM'd her and she answered me within a second. And I was like, good timing. So I sent her the clothing, and then next week I was at work in the office and I was just scrolling through my Instagram stories and I saw Emily Ratajkowski dancing in my Alex crochet top. There is that video because my friend said that she took a video of me jumping because I couldn't believe it. The interesting thing was that was the first show Emrata's post without her engagement ring. So this video, or the photos of this video, ended up in a lot of articles. I think it was in Daily Mail, so many articles, because it was, oh my God, she's not wearing a ring. What happened then? Few things to mention about that day. First of all, it wasn't Emrata who posted these stories. It was her friend, her best friend. She just reposted it to her Instagram stories. Thanks God, I was thinking I need to do something, because previously when influencers were posting, it didn't really work for me. No sales were done. So I was ready to change and find a way for this event to affect my sales. So I went to her friend TikTok, this video that she posted, and I just started commenting that, oh my god, like you look amazing, like Emrata looks amazing in this crochet top. And because I think the TikTok had like million views, I'm not sure, maybe hundreds of thousands, I'm not gonna lie, but there was a lot of comments, and I would go through each comment. I would update them like every minute and answer on each comment that mentioned the top, where the top is from. Someone will be like, oh my god, this top looks amazing. I'm like, yeah, thank you, that's my small brand, my mom said the brand.com, like go shop there. I will redirect everyone I could to that page. Few hours later, Emrata posted the same TikTok on her page, but I think what she didn't realize is that she posted on her TikTok with the watermark of her friend. Like, you know, she just downloaded the video from her friend's TikTok and then she posted on her TikTok. And when you do that, when there is a watermark, TikTok doesn't really give you views. So apparently maybe it works if you Emrata as well. Because after a few hours, she deleted that because it wasn't getting much views. But while it was still running on her page, I again commented like, oh my god, thank you so much that you're like wearing my brand. And she answered that. So my comment got this like liked by creator, which means it was on top of the search. And then she also answered like, oh my god, like I love it. And people were seeing that. First of all, like Emrata answered me amazing. And yeah, her fans started seeing that. I again will redirect every comment I could see before she deleted that TikTok to my website. And yeah, top starting selling out. Like I got so many sales in there in this few days that it was crazy. What I did wrong. So what I did wrong is that I realized later, after she deleted the TikTok, that later I tried to contact her again. I tried to contact first her stylist to tell like, oh my god, like thank you for that. It was amazing that Emrata wore it. I would love to send her more clothing. Stylist didn't answer me for weeks, which is completely okay. And then later her assistant answered me, but she said that she doesn't work anymore with this stylist. So I couldn't reach anymore Emrata. My mistake was that when she answered on that TikTok comment, it means she saw my comment, and if I would write another comment, she would see again, and I should have wrote that I would love to send you more clothing. Like anyway, try to get in contact directly with her, which I didn't. Later she deleted the TikTok, of course. I tried to DM her again, but she never replied, which completely understandable, okay? Another interesting thing that happened is that the top in that color got sold out immediately. I sat down and started crocheting more, but you know, I wasn't that fast and people kept asking me. And the thing was, there were a few different colors like grayish or a bit more brownish. And I was like, you know, there's those colors. And people are like, no. It was so interesting for me to find out that if fans or customers, whatever, like something on the celebrity, they want exactly same thing, meaning even the color. Only that color of that top was selling out, which was so interesting for me. And I think you learn these things only by trying it out. There was a lot of website sessions for a few days. Tops were just selling out so quickly. I sold more than I ever had, which now you will think probably hundreds. No, I sold I think 10 or 12 tops. And to compare, I would usually sell like 3 tops per month. So again, like I probably sounded so dramatic and ended up only selling 10 tops, but I'm a small sustainable brand and I was crocheting all these tops myself. And just it was like that back then I had those 10 tops in that colors. I think it was 10 or 12 tops already crocheted, because when it got sold out, I started crocheting more, and I would add them as I would crochet them. And I noticed that I think they sold after Emrata posted for 3 days, and on the 4th, 5th day, when I started adding more, no one was interested anymore. That's another thing I learned, that the hype dies that quickly. And I feel if on the first, second, third day I had like 100 tops on the website, maybe I would have sold them all, but I had only 10. And when I started adding them later, people weren't as interested as they were on the first or second day, which is so crazy, but so interesting. As I mentioned before, when the celebrities and influencers were posting my clothing, wearing my clothing, they wouldn't tag, of course, obviously, and that wouldn't bring me sales or that wouldn't bring me like anything, right? Actually, one influencer did tag. She had few millions of followers and she tagged me in the stories, and that brought me, I think, 5 followers. Even though she had millions of followers, that brought me only 5 followers, and that didn't bring me any sales. So interesting, right? So with Emrata it was different because I think she is very like a style icon, not like she's a style icon, but also I spent hours commenting on each comment and redirecting customers to the website. I think back then I had a few hundreds of session on my website a day, and that was the biggest I ever had at that moment, because usually I will have 20 people on my website per day, and then when Emrata happened it was hundreds. The funniest thing ever, few weeks after that, personally think this is so funny, few weeks after that I opened my Shopify and I see that I have 900, I think it was like 900 sessions on my website, and I was like, that must be a mistake. Again, I usually would have 20, and that day I had 900. I was like, did I get hacked? What happened? And then I remembered that I gave the interview to the Finnish newspaper that I didn't think much of. It was called, let me check just to be correct. I wrote it down. Yeah, Ilta-Sanomat. So Ilta-Sanomat interview brought me more visit to the website that Emrata and anyone ever did before. This was so crazy to me. I had no idea that this is such a big newspapers. It didn't bring me sales because I think it's just different type of target group, different age, etc., etc. But just having so many visitors on my website, I literally thought like I was hacked. This was so funny. Next week after Emrata, I was shopping in Lidl when I just checked my phone and I see the email from Vogue saying that they wanna have an interview with me, Vogue Scandinavia. I start crying. Like I literally remember being on the aisle with like oat milk, and first of all, like I started like trembling. I again started rechecking, is it true or not? Because I had few of those emails before. Usually they ask for money, blah, blah, blah. I checked the journalist, I checked the links, I checked everything, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, once I realized it is for real, because they said like, oh, we saw like Emrata wearing your top, we wanna have an interview with you for our like Vogue Scandinavia website. I was crying, like full on crying in Lidl. I didn't care because that was the biggest dream for me ever to be in Vogue. Like who don't dream about that, right? I'm still speechless. I don't know what else to say. I was just crying. I couldn't believe myself. But then I was like, okay, they probably just want like feature me on, I don't know, some page or whatever, just to know little thing, whatever. But I'm still, of course, happy, thankful. But I'm like, calm down, calm down. What if it don't even happen? Then they sent me the questions, and there was a lot of questions. I answered all the questions. I sent them back, and then I started waiting. In a few days, I opened the Vogue Scandinavia website because, of course, I was updating it like every day. Okay, more like 20 times a day because they didn't really tell me when it will be there. And I open it up and I see a full-on article about my brand. I couldn't believe it. I was crying so much. I called my friends. I just remember it being a morning and I'm like sitting in my office with like sewing machine and just crying and bawling, just like on top of my lungs crying, like, like this exhausting kind of cry. The interesting thing was that some of my friends asked me after why I didn't send them my picture. There is only the pictures of the models wearing my clothing and my mom. I don't know why I haven't. Like, it didn't even come to my mind to send like picture of me to the article, because it would be now, I think would be nice to have my picture in Vogue, but for me more important was of course my brand, and the most important was that I sent a picture of my mom. My mom used to be a model in the first model agency in Kiev, and she is the one who taught me about fashion. She was the one who always had fashion TV on, like fashion TV channel on. She had hundreds of Vogues. She's still so obsessed with fashion, and it was like her birthday, I think, like in a week or so. And I just really wanted. I hope that they will post that picture of my mom that I sent to them when she was like in her 20s. It's one of my favorite pictures, and they posted her. So I didn't tell her anything about that, right? Because it was about to be her birthday, and I just really wanted to get her picture in Vogue. So I called her. My mistake was that I called way early in the morning, and she was still asleep. I tell her, mom, open that link that I sent her. My mom doesn't understand English much, right? So she opens the link and she's like, oh, that's like article about you. I was like, yeah, mom. What is written on the left corner? Because you know when you open the Vogue website, it's just on the left or right, whatever. It's like very little Vogue written. I was like, mom, what's written there? And mom was like, VOGUE? I was like, mom, read again, please. I was like, VOGUE. Vogue. Mom was like, Katya, I don't understand. I was like, mom, don't read, but just like look at it. And she's like, oh, that's Vogue. And I'm like, yeah, mom. And like she was so sleepy. She was like, oh, your article. I was like, yeah, Vogue. Okay. She's like, your article is in Vogue. I was like, yeah, mom. And then I was like, keep scrolling. And I told her like my birthday present for you is that you're in Vogue. And she just couldn't believe it. She was still sleepy. She called me a few hours later when she was literally like celebrating with my family and their friends, and they all was just celebrating and like toasting me, which was so funny. Like my dad said, like my mom called like everyone and like, you know, basically walking on the streets and telling everyone that her daughter is in a walk, which is such mom thing to do. And I remember my dad telling me, oh, so are you gonna buy a car now? And there was like all this talk like, are you gonna buy a car now, are you gonna buy a house now, like, oh my god, like the people went crazy, which was so fun. Of course, like I'm so thankful. It's one of the best memories. I had so many, you know, friends calls, whatever. The funniest thing is that yes, I didn't get any sales from Vogue. I didn't get followers, maybe few. I didn't get website sessions, again, maybe few, like nothing to compare to any other events and celebrities and so on, so on. So Ilda Sanomat gave me more website sessions than Vogue, which is, again, is so interesting. And I would never know that until I try it. But also, you can't really compete. It's such a good thing to have that your brand was in Vogue. So yeah, that's about it. In this episode, I really wanted to share how something that looks good on Instagram and on the pictures can be completely different in real life. Even though I had like Emrata and articles written about my brand, I didn't make hundreds of sales. And then when I closed my brand, a lot of people wrote me like, oh my God, how does it happen? I couldn't believe it. Like, I supported you. I believed in you so much. One thing we should remember, and I think that is so, so important, is that don't forget to support your friends' hobbies, businesses, brands, arts. And if you can't buy, that's completely understandable. But what you can do is share, like, and follow. And these things are free. And if you think like, oh my God, like I don't share, I don't like, or I don't follow, like I really don't, I never share, I never repost anything to my stories. But she knows that I love her brand. Like she knows that. Like we're good friends and she knows like support her. But I really like, I just don't reshare anything to my stories. Like, and she wouldn't care. Like it wouldn't make a difference. That's false. I wanted to say different words, but I would say that's false. As a person who, okay, let me tell you one thing. Sometimes when influencer will wear my clothes and they will have million of followers, it will bring me nothing. But sometimes when my friend or the customer will share their picture wearing clothing and say like, oh my God, like love this brand, this will actually bring me more followers and more customers. And I'm not joking, than when influencer posted. So if you think like, I don't need repost, like I never repost anything. And I have only like few hundred of followers. Like she knows I love her. She knows I love her art. Like it's okay that I don't share. That's false. You can really help your friend by reposting and resharing, and that brings so much more value that you couldn't even imagine. So really don't underestimate those things. These things are very important. And I would often think like, if all of my friends or all of my followers or all of my customers like reposted or reshared or whatever the posts, my brand would probably, okay, I don't want to talk about that. That will sound not good, like I'm not thankful or something. I'm very, very much thankful for the ride and for all of my customers whom I most of them I know by name, which is so crazy because many customers made more sales. Yeah, actually, let's talk about that. I love my customers. I love all the girls who in the bathrooms in the line told me that they like there would be usually like, sorry, are you my mom said? And I'm like, yeah, mom, my mom said, oh my god, like I love your brand. I've been following you since my mom said vintage. I will go home and I will cry my eyes out because this is out of everything. This is the best memories of running a brand. Like I'm not joking. Vogue, Emrata, whatever. Having a girlfriend, just a girl in a bathroom queue asking you if your mom said and then telling her how she loves your brand is the best thing. I After that I always came home, I cried my eyes out and I would call my mom, I would call my old best friends and tell how the girl in the bathroom recognized me and how she loved my small brand. This was the best thing ever. So just to sum it up, if you want to take one thing out of this podcast, if you have a friend who has a hobby, art, brand, anything, go reshare, go like, go write few reviews or comments on your stories about the brand, because those things really matter. There's I think little things that drive more crazy. I think there's little things that drive more sales than honest reviews from customers and friends. This is Those genuine things is actually what can help your friend make a difference and make sales and help keep going on. So thank you so much for listening, Girl Boss in Style, and I can't wait to know what you think about this episode. Have a good day.